Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 824. Crazy to think we've done over 800 episodes, but in today's episode, we are talking about getting and becoming lucky. You see, of course, if we think of what lucky really means, it's like something beyond ourselves. Like if we think of, oh, that person's just lucky, it means they haven't done the work and it just happened to them, or it fell into their lap, or they're at a lucky streak. And ultimately, we know that's not true. You see, I like to think luck is about opportunity, but on top of opportunity, it's the willing to take conviction upon that opportunity. Like you've still got to do the work. But let's talk about what unlucky is in the perspective of the unconscious mind. You see, you can fall into the trap of believing that you're unlucky, that we buy into a story that we're unlucky. Like, nothing ever works out for me. I always have bad relationships. I can never get a break. But the problem with that is you are actually hypnotizing yourself to fulfill that narrative, to fulfill the same story. And I might push up against some of your boundaries here, and that's okay. I like to think we should be able to push up against our own boundaries, or to see if they're real, to see if they're not, see if it's reality or if it's subjective perception of what we think is possible. But if you do go through certain events in your past, it can make you feel like that luck is not on your side. Because why? I've got all this evidence, a trail of evidence, that nothing has gone right, where it just makes me feel lost and alone and therefore unlucky. And therefore we start to project that into our future. Right? We think, well, based on my past evidence, based on my past data that I've had through those significant emotional events or traumas, it must mean that I have bad luck. It must mean things are going to get worse for me. You see, the way that our brain is coded, we need that data to be able to think of what could happen. It's the only way we really survive, because you haven't got any other counter evidence, right? You only know what's happening based on your past experience. That's your evidence of what you think is or is not possible. So therefore you take that collection of evidence and go, well, this is what I can predict, right? This is what I predict in my future based on all the data that I have. So if you've gone through, say, a sequence of bad relationships, based on that data, you will predict the unluckiness of more bad relationships. Or if I've gone through lots of poverty growing up, or people have taken money from me, or I can't get like a good career or the salary that I want, that data becomes my evidence of what could happen, or what I'm really predicting in the future. So that creates this unlucky narrative. But also with the unlucky narrative, what happens is we, just like how we said what lucky is, that is something just falls into your lap and you did nothing, right? That's like, it just happened to me when I'm lucky. Well, the same goes when it comes to unlucky. The badness fell into your lap. In other words, it's beyond your control. So now, not only have we got that past data predicting the unluckiness, we're now causing it to be beyond our control. We're pushing out all opportunities. We're kind of having reasons as to why we are like we are. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to stop what unluckiness is, we've got to also recognize our own part in this narrative. It's one thing to be hypnotized by those people or those past events, but it's another thing to put up with it. I think today We should take a stand for what is right. Take a stand for something more. To take a stand for not living the same story. Because on the one hand, I would never want that to be passed down to my friends and my family, or say children. And on the other hand, it's only going to ever keep me stuck. So if I'm going to make a change to be lucky, I've got to ask myself, what part am I playing in this story? Like, what am I consciously, but more importantly, unconsciously creating as that narrative? Like, am I buying into that belief system that I am unlucky? Am I buying into the belief system that relationships aren't worth my time because it only creates pain? Am I buying into the narrative that I am a poor person, that I must stay in poverty? Because whatever I identify with, I will start to use that as a prediction of what is possible or what is not possible. So think about how you identify as an unlucky person, as we just term it unlucky, and then on the counter, if you were to make that change, or if you were to know someone, wherever you really know them, or if you could just imagine, how would that identity be different for the lucky person when everything just happens for them? You see, some people will go, well, life just happens to me. I like to think, well, life happens for me. Not in a negative way, like it's all about me, but I'm just saying, a bit like in the book, my goodness, The Alchemist. There's a sentence in the book, which is, the world is, I think it's either the world or the universe, but the world is conspiring in your favor. That to me is being lucky. Like when things are conspiring in your favor, not to you, not against you, but for you. So if you were to take like two viewpoints, looking through the unlucky eyes of all this past data causes me to go, that must mean I'm unlucky. That must mean I'm only ever going to get bad relationships, bad abundance, or more debt and all those things. And then switch. Look through the eyes of what is lucky. How does that feel? You see, when I do that, I feel like life is happening for me, as I said. It's coming to me. The abundance is coming to me. The opportunities are coming for me. But on the same notion, there's that aspect of me goes, well, I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity. I'm going to be open for the opportunity. I'm going to be open for the abundance in known and unknown ways, in seen and unseen ways. You see, if I say and look through that perspective, it feels light. And in the same notion, it makes me go, I'm lucky because I'm worthy. I'm worthy of the good things. I'm deserving of the good things. I know that I'm enough for the good and great. You see, when you come from that place of worthiness, deservingness, and knowing you are enough, how could you possibly not feel lucky as being here? Like that gratitude to know that you're enough. The gratitude for getting to live, getting to love, getting to do what you want to do on your terms. To me, that's being lucky. I think if you were to write down all the things we're grateful for, you may be surprised, but we're so locked into the unluckiness of what we think life throws at us. And I know some people go, well, but my history, my data and experiences says the opposite of that. But just because it shows up as the opposite, just because you haven't had the best childhood, and I'm not saying this in a light way, I'm hopefully trying to say this in a loving, supportive way, that we're not going to truly be our authentic self if we don't take a stand for your self-worth, if we don't take a stand for you're enough and that you're capable. Yes, you gotta do some work. Like I said, luck is opportunity and almost like the talent to go, I'm ready to make this change. Like the willingness, the openness to those opportunities, the decisiveness. So even if the data is saying no, 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 you've got to come from a place of going, yes. Why? Because I'm worth it. Yes, because I deserve a good, loving relationship. And it's going to be hard in the beginning because we are going against all the opposite data. But like I said, just because we've got that data out there, is there other data which shows the opposite? Are there other people out there who have healthy, wonderful, loving relationships? Are there people out there who are doing good in the world or got to that place being abundant? Well, if it's possible for them, it's possible for you. We've just got to take a moment and reflect and go, okay, what can I be grateful for now? What is it about me that I can start to look into my own self-worth? Maybe it's right now that the fact that you are paying attention to this episode, in other words, you're paying attention to your own needs, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people won't be invested in time to work upon themselves. Some people will be locked into their pain, but you're here, which to me means you have the potentiality, you have the willingness to step into your self-worth. So take a stand. Decide that even though this stuff has happened to me, today's I'm going to start to allow life to happen for me. It's because I know that I'm going to work on my esteem. I know that I'm going to go all in on my self-worth. Because then you'll change the narrative. And once again, look through the eyes of the person, if you could imagine to do so, through the person who feels lucky every single day. Notice there's no resistance. Even that person might go, even though there's an economic crisis, I'm going to be lucky today. I get to live and I get to love. Even though money is not showing up right now, I'm open to receive it. I am the lighthouse to that abundance. Or we could say to relationships, to career, or whatever fits your desires. But we've got to understand that it's to be lucky is to something that you get to construct, that you get to work on. And notice the sentences I'm saying here. I'm doing it deliberately, that you get to. You get to create your own luck by deciding you are more than that past experience. So if you're going to model the difference between that unlucky mindset, it's like everything's happening to that person. They are the consequence of life. They are the result of trauma. They're the result of their pain. That everything happens to them. And when I try it on, because I've been there, I'd feel like, honestly, it's coming to me, like against me. Whereas when I flip into the mode of abundance, I feel like it's coming to me, but I'm open. I always love the sentence, whatever you desire, desires you too. Right? Think about that. Whatever you desire, desires you too. Now, if we're coming from the unluckiness mindset, if we're honest, what are we desiring there? I'm not saying you consciously desire trauma or unluckiness, but think about the energetic feeling to it. It's the expectation of being unlucky. It's the expectation of another bad relationship. It's the expectation of more money going out than coming in. So the expectation is something that you start to define as who you are. Your expectations become your reality. Your expectations become your labels of what you see for life, of what is and what is not possible. But we want to be able to go, well, what can I expect that is good? What can I expect that is working for me? Now, the good news is, On the next episode, I'm going to be doing a hypnosis session around this, trying to and going for undoing those negative expectations of more pain or trauma, and instead flipping the switch, flipping the mindset of going, well, I want to expect the good and great because I'm worthy of it. I'm deserving of it. And one thing I also want to make sure we cover is this. Have you ever been in a mindset when things get good, I expect it to go away from me? Like, I might get it temporarily, but something's around the corner and it's going to get taken away from me. That is another common thing that we need to let go on the hypnosis session as well. Because that is a form of self-sabotage. That is a form of I'm not enough to keep the good things. I'm not worthy of it, because we're equating in our mind that expectation that if I get something good, it's going to take away, or something bad's going to happen to even the playing field of that. So when we dive into this as a psychology, I want our expectations to go, I'm allowed good things, and even more good things are coming my way. And maybe say that to yourself. I know it's just words right now, but I always love this kind of the frame of reference in a sentence that good things are happening for me in known and unknown ways. I don't know how, but I'm excited to find out. I'm going to just carry on radiating the gratitude that I get to live and love. I get to be here today. And if I get to be here, I get to receive. I get to create. I get to define my expectations. So maybe it's time to expect more from ourselves. It's time to do the work. One of the, on my past group coaching calls this weekend, we're talking about kind of doing the work. Because if you do the work, you get the results. You do. If you start to undo the limiting beliefs that were kind of instilled and hypnotized through those experiences to us, if we undo that, you are letting go of the limiting belief to then have the openness to what is possible. To go, actually, yeah, maybe I am enough. I am worthy of that abundance. In fact, even though I went through the past traumas, even though that's been my narrative, today I stop that. I hand it over because it's not serving me. It's not protecting me. Instead, I'm going to decide and declare that I'm going to be more today. And I don't know how. I love being surprised, but I'm open to the surprise of the good things. And that creates a new expectation. And in the beginning, there will be some resistance because you've had this for so long. So be at peace with it. Like, yeah, do more of the deep work and all those things, solve the root cause, all the things I always say. It's important to do that. But start to expect something different. Change the definition of what is possible and the definition of you. And enjoy the complimentary hypnosis session, because I also said section there, but I guess it's a part 2 of this section of the podcast. But the next episode, we'll be doing a hypnosis session all about getting the unconscious mind to do that we don't have to be defined by our past and the traumas we've been through, that we can start to expect something good and great in those known and unknown ways. That is what lucky is to me. It's about being open to receive the good things. It's about radiating that all the good things are coming to me and for me. Life works for me. Have that as your mantra. But with that, I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. And that future episode, as I said, will be on a hypnosis session on being lucky. You've got it. You get to do this. So I'll speak to you then. Many thanks and goodbye.